Hey folks, this is Mr. Markhart here to explain a couple things about procedure and specifically the column that says why conducted or methodology on the far corner here. You'll see that I'm using just an example lab with this. We don't do anything with muscle twitch here, at least in our Agriscience classes. Before I taught here at East, I used to teach in southern Wisconsin and did teach biology for a little bit. So hopefully maybe it's a lab that you do in your biology class too. But this lab was about muscle twitching and how does the difference between slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers kind of match up based on different activities that you do. At this point, you've probably been given a summative lab, which is posted on Google Classroom. First, you'll know in your summative lab, all summative labs start with some sort of background, explaining a little bit more about it, and then kind of going into the procedure. While in this case, you are viewing this video because we are not physically able to do the lab in classroom. This could be for a variety of reasons. For this reason, currently right now that we're having a remote classroom. Students aren't able to kind of do the activities in the physical classroom itself. And many of us just don't have access to those materials. During the regular classroom period, it could be that you were gone for something. Unfortunately, maybe you were pulled from class due to something inappropriate in class, or that you just checked out that day. And whatever reason, I want to provide ample opportunities for people to be able to come back, experience the material that we're talking about, and be able to get some points for the good hard work that they can be then putting in. The procedure that you see here is going to walk through on one side, going to have all of the different things that you would normally do in some sort of lab situation. Different, and what we'll see on this side then on the right is a why things are conducted. I'm trying to be able to focus mainly on answering the question that sometimes I get in class. Why am I doing this, Mr. Markhart? Why am I pouring concrete into this slab? Why am I watering these radishes? These may seem like silly questions, but they do come back to what is the teachable moment, what's the purpose, and what's the why of some of these steps. In science, they call this methodology, or the why to it. You'll just see why conducted mentioned there because it's probably easier for us to remember. But if I use methodology later on in this video, you'll know that that's kind of where I'm pulling it from. You'll notice in this category, I've got some of these boxes that'll be white. These are the boxes I would like you to place some sort of why this is happening. And then some of these boxes will be gray. So for instance, this gray box down below here. I realize some of these steps, while there is a reasoning and there's a rationale for it, it's kind of silly to have you answer them. So I took all of the go figure or the slightly hard rationale questions, and I went ahead and just answered them for you. This is to streamline this, to make modifications, and to be honest, just to make sure that you understand what the heck I'm having you do. So for instance, in this case, when I have you repeat steps 2 to 3 for 3 trials, I gotta explain my rationale. Why am I having you A, repeat steps, and B, repeat it 3 times? Why do we do anything 3 times? And in that case, repeating 3 trials makes my data more reliable. I would much prefer to take a drug given by a doctor that had been tried multiple times with many different trials, rather than having an experimental drug that had only been tried once, and you'd be person number 2. Would much rather have multiple trials. In that case, we also want multiple trials in all of our experiments as well. But for each one of the white space boxes, I would like you to answer and fill something in. So for instance, for my first one, in pairs, designate 1 person to perform the activity and 1 person to time. What's my reasoning for that? Why in the world do I need to have 1 person to perform an activity and 1 person to time? If I'm thinking back and it's doing some sort of physical activity with muscle movements, I probably need someone to actually be able to be concentrating on the activity and 1 person to be able to time the activity. So I do need 2 people in this case. I'm gonna type that out. 2 people make it easier to perform activity and keep track of data. Because at the end of the day, the timing is going to be the data that we enter into our stuff down below here.